Jason Knapp, former Big Ten all-around champ Robin Hubner, and Olympic gold medalist Dominique Dawes back with you here from Iowa City, the Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships. Here's a look at what we saw in rotation number 5. Cecily Allen, bars specialist for Penn State, delivering a nice number, 9.8 for the Nittany Lions. Her teammate, Crystal Uzelak, maybe the best number we've seen on the bars so far, a 9.925. Michigan with a tough run on the beam. Jenny Diley had a spill, another one earlier in beam for Michigan. The 9.275 could hurt the Wolverines, but Elise Ray, a rock in the anchor position for Michigan, a 9.9. Great dismount helping Michigan. Overall team standings look like this after 5 rotations. Michigan still clinging to a lead over Penn State, with Michigan State in 3rd, Illinois in 4th. Penn State and Michigan could come down to decide the title one more time. Here's a look at the 6th rotation with Minnesota on the vault. Iowa, Michigan State, Ohio State also in the mix. Illinois, Penn State, and Michigan sitting out. Here in rotation number 6, Minnesota trying to make a push at the standings. Laura Johnson, junior from Albuquerque, New Mexico, with her vault. And doing a different vault than we've seen.
Very exciting. That was a half-on, half-off, also known as a Phelps, named after one of my Olympic teammates, J.C. Phelps.
Here's a look at Annie Rue of Iowa. Broke her foot earlier this year, so all she could do was swing bars, and that's what she's done. Refused to quit in her senior season. Coach Larissa Libby said she really set a great example for her teammates.
You know, I was talking to Larissa earlier, and she was saying that Iowa's actually been hurt by the amount of injuries that they've had throughout the season. But Annie's definitely showing that she's worked her weaker event bars and strengthened it up.
A nice going back out dismount layout. Just that step on the landing.
Annie Rue and Iowa here in front of the home crowd. The final rotation coming up. Can Michigan win this thing for the 7th year in a row? Find out next. Back here in Iowa City, a look at the old Capitol building, part of the backdrop of these 2005 Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships. Rotation number 6. Laura Johnson of Minnesota with a 9.85 of the vault, and Annie Rue pleasing the hometown crowd with a 9.825 on the bars. Here's a look at the scores after the 6th rotation. Michigan State, Iowa, Ohio State, the top 3 spots, but don't be fooled. Michigan, Penn State, and Minnesota, the only competitors here in this 7th rotation. They are fighting for the overall team title. And here's a look at that 7th rotation. Illinois on the vault, Minnesota on bars. Beam is Penn State's, Michigan on the floor, Ohio State, Iowa, Michigan State sitting out for the rest of the competition. 7th and final rotation, Penn State with a tough assignment on the beam. You know, Nittany Lions have been second 7 times at the Big Ten Championships, trying to break through for that first Big Ten title, and Meredith Hoover, a junior, on the beam right now.
Well, this has to be an exciting moment for Meredith. This is a very hard time. She knows her team needs to have a hit beam routine. She's up close to the last part of the lineup, so she knows this really matters.
She nailed that back handspring layout walkout just very easily.
Solid full turn. That's a skill that actually causes a lot of people problems. So it
sure does.
Looks simple, but it's very difficult to do.
Is that one of those things you take for granted because it's simple and you're thinking about other things in the performance?
And you're worrying about the other, what seemingly are bigger skills, but then you know, on a simple first full turn, you can lose your balance so easily.
Or a simple dance move or a simple scale. But so far, she's performing quite well. Solid performance.
She's sort of talking to herself as she goes through, maybe little mental reminders as she goes along.
Self-talk is very helpful. I remember throughout my career, I would self-talk. However, I did not open up my mouth when I did it.
Not going for the inner monologue, thinking out loud a little bit, but it seems to be working.
That was a nice combination of a leap into front somersault.
The dismount, nicely done. Solid score, 9.8 for Meredith Hoover and the Nittany Lions. Now on floor, Elise Ray. Last performance for her here at the 2005 Big Ten Championships, and if she can nail this, she can help close out a 7th straight Big Ten title for the Wolverines.
Tough takeoff on that first tumbling pass. However, she pulled that 1.5 out of that quite well.
She cut it a little short, but like you say, she can recover from just about anything and make it look like she planned it that way.
She's pretty experienced.
Great to have that experience in the anchor position.
Very pretty.
Nice, solid double pike. Beautiful music choice as well as interesting and unique choreography.
I think it really fits her style. It's kind of smooth and slinky.
Another one of those routines throughout the competition that makes you want to watch.
Right.
And folks will be watching Elise Ray for the last few times here in her collegiate career. Regionals, NCAAs, and that's it. You heard her at the opening of the program talking about how it's bittersweet and she'll be soaking up the atmosphere of these final few routines and going through the motions here towards the end of her floor exercise.
It's definitely a tough time knowing that the end of your career is coming near. However, you know that each routine, each skill really does matter, and she's doing quite well for Michigan, and hopefully they can come out on top.
Final tumbling pass here. And Elise Ray finishes it off for Michigan, a 9.825. The Wolverines and head coach Bev Blocky hoping it's enough for another Big Ten title. Crystal Uslak on the balance beam for Penn State. The Nittany Lions trying to close it on Michigan here in this last rotation.
Solid series there. Wonderful landing. This has to be a lot of pressure put up on a young freshman. However, she is experienced being a past elite gymnast.
It is a little bit different atmosphere. The college ranks, hopefully a little bit less pressure because you're in a team atmosphere.
And Coach Steve Shepard said that Crystal really sort of soaked up that collegiate team atmosphere, and you can see it. She's come through with some of her best performances of the year in these Big Tens, and there are her Nittany Lion teammates cheering her on as she works her way towards the end of this routine.
And knowing that Penn State is only a couple tenths behind Michigan, I'm sure that's in the back of her mind.
Trying to max out this routine. The dismount.
Double pike with a stuck landing.
Well done. 9.95 for Crystal Uslak. The final numbers look like this. Michigan gets it done. That's 7th straight Big Ten title. Now 13 of the last 14 years the Wolverines have been champs, but it was close. Penn State within less than a quarter point of the Wolverines. Minnesota hanging on there for third.
I was so impressed, obviously, with Michigan, as always, but Penn State and Minnesota really keeping the pressure on in the final rotation. None of them, they had no mistakes. They really hit their routine.
And to see that Penn State could hit beam and end it solidly and really put the pressure, as you had said, on to Michigan was impressive.
And certainly the Wolverines relied on their senior star, Elise Ray, top 4 in each of the disciplines, good enough to win the all-around for the second year in a row.
And another all-around for Elise. What a wonderful way to end up her Big Ten championship competition.
Certainly the big story, Michigan gets it done again. Hail to the victors, the maize and blue, one more time. Congratulations to Michigan, 2005 Big Ten Women's Gymnastics champs. For Robin Hubner and Dominique Dawes, our entire CSTV crew, I'm Jason Knapp. For more, log on to CSTV.com, the ultimate destination for scores, news, highlights, and analysis. This has been a presentation of CSTV, College Sports Television, #1 in college sports. So long from Iowa City. Thanks for watching, everybody.